Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kalyn, and today we're going to be looking at the pro-spider ball python arguments that are commonly used by supporters. In the past month or so, we've seen a whole bunch of videos about spider ball pythons and why people don't support them, and on those videos come very angry, very brutal comments from spider ball python supporters. So I went out and watched hours worth of these videos, and I scrolled through the comments, finding the most common, and I decided we would look through them. As for everything, I think it's important to have a discussion from both sides, so I'm just going to look at the most common arguments. I'm sure this isn't all of them, and I'm very sure that this isn't the most compelling arguments that they have, but these are the ones that I've seen most often, and I wanted to address them. If you are a spider ball python supporter and you disagree with anything in this video, please tell me down below. I would love to talk to you about it. As long as you're mature and polite, I would be happy to reply to you and actually have a discussion about it. But if you do swear at me, if you do insult me, your comment will be removed. I've seen some very brutal comments and I am not going to tolerate that. So this video is mainly about spider ball pythons. However, it could be applied to anything that has a wobble or the spider gene, such as bumblebee, super sable, killer bee, spinner, you know, anything that has a wobble. If you don't know what a wobble is, I suggest you watch Go Herping's video on this. He explains it pretty well. But basically, it's a neurological condition that disorientates the snake and is most common in the spider morph. Okay, so by far the most common comment I've seen is, "You have no experience." Sometimes, and obviously this isn't all the time, but sometimes experience takes the back seat to research and common sense. I've met people who said they have dozens of years experience with goldfish, they've been breeding goldfish since before I was born, and yet they still believe the myth that goldfish grow to the size of the tank and keep breeds like comets in 10 gallons. So obviously experience doesn't automatically mean you're right. I've noticed that the majority of people who do support spider ball pythons are breeders who've invested a lot of money in producing these snakes. Most animal welfare professionals are against spider ball pythons being bred, and those are the people I would trust rather than breeders who have money invested in producing spider ball pythons. You only have blank followers, so your opinion doesn't matter. I love this one because it assumes that you can only have an opinion and a set of morals if you have a high amount of subscribers. That's just absurd. This is a scary mindset because it puts people up on a pedestal and makes them exempt from criticism. We all make mistakes, we're all finding new things out about the animals that we keep and breed. That goes for your favorite YouTubers too. Not everybody is right 100% of the time. You're only trying to get views or subscribers or followers. I don't know about this one. I lose subscribers and followers every time I talk about something controversial. I mean, I made a video about why retractable leashes are bad and I lost a bunch of subscribers, so if I was trying to gain subscribers, I would be focusing on happy content, not controversial. I care about animals and their well-being because I love animals, not because I want some stupid, insignificant number on a website on the internet that has no impact on my daily life. The wobble has no ill effect on a snake. They eat, poop, shed, and breed just fine. But they don't. You can't look at a video of an animal with a severe wobble and tell me that it's thriving. You can't look at an animal that's corkscrewing and tell me that it's fine. You can't look at a spider ball python that needs to be assist-fed because it can't strike and find its own food and tell me that they eat just fine. They don't. Some spider ball pythons do, I agree with that, but not all spider ball pythons, and it's absurd to claim that. From the Journal of Exotic Pet Medicine from 2014. Although breeders generally agreed that quality of life was not significantly affected, 89% of welfare scientists concluded a moderate to high welfare effect based on the information available. That's about spider ball pythons. So as you can see, if you are a breeder, if you're very passionate about spider ball pythons, you might be biased and that might be affecting the way you see them. It can be bred out through selective breeding. My spider ball python has no issues. That's very awesome for your spider ball python, and I'm very happy for them and you, because severe wobbles are horrible and I wouldn't wish them upon anybody. However, that's not the case for all spider ball pythons. Spiders are one of the first morphs. If it could be bred out, do you not think that the wobble would be gone by now? From the same journal before, the Journal of Exotic Pet Medicine in 2014, unaffected hatchlings may be born to severely affected females, and affected offspring born to adults that have never displayed observable clinical signs. This strongly suggests that all spider ball pythons carry this gene whether they show observable clinical signs or not. Also, wobbles can appear or get worse with age, so even though your snake is fine now, it may not be that way in 5 years. Again, I hope it's that way. I hope your snake is okay and it continues to be okay, but that's not always the case. Would you tell somebody not to breed or have a family because they have an ugly face? An ugly face is not at all comparable to a neurological condition in animals that we can avoid. Would you tell somebody not to breed because they have a medical condition? Stopping a snake from breeding is not the same as stopping somebody from having a family. Snakes don't care for their young. They don't have an emotional attachment to their young. Some snakes will protect their eggs and their hatchlings for a very short time and then they leave. After that, the snake doesn't care what happens to these babies. Whereas in humans, we're social creatures that usually love our children and will for their entire life. If you think that they're the same, if you think your snake is aware of whether or not they have children out there somewhere, or if they have an emotional bond with their children, I don't know what to tell you. I get the main point of this argument is to make people who don't support spider ball pythons seem insensitive or ableist, but it just makes you look bad. Snakes are not humans. A person with a medical condition is not an animal. But dogs and cat breeds have issues too. They sure do. I agree with that. And that's why I'm against them. I always advocate for adopting instead of shopping because I don't want people to give money to the breeders who keep supporting that breed. Normal ball pythons can get wobbles too. The only cases I've heard of this happening is when a snake gets IBD, is like unable to turn itself over, stargazing, all those type of wobble-like symptoms, and then they die a few days later. Another cause for normal ball pythons to experience something like this is mishaps within the incubation period. Or they could have been overheated at some point because that can also cause neurological issues. And even if it was true that normals get wobbles just like spiders do, it still would be more of a spider issue. Let's go back to the dog argument, for example. Pugs are an awful breed, they're very unhealthy, and a lot of even vets want them banned. I support this wholeheartedly, obviously, for a lot of reasons, ranging from their breathing issue, to their eyes, to their skin, to their teeth, all of that. I think that they are very, very sad little creatures. If a few puppies from another breed, let's say a pit bull, were born with abnormally small snouts and they had breathing issues just like a pug would, we wouldn't say that that was a pit bull issue, would we? Nobody would want to ban pit bulls because of those breathing issues because it isn't normal towards that breed. With pugs, the chances of these issues occurring are pretty high, if not inevitable, so a lot of people are against pugs for that reason. It would still be a pug issue, right? It's the same here. If a few normals got a wobble, it would still be a spider ball python issue because it's common in them. Spider ball pythons are beautiful. There's no proof that a wobble actually hurts the snake. This is true, I guess. We can see looking at it that it's probably uncomfortable. I mean, can you imagine having vertigo or being dizzy 24/7 your entire life, especially when you're stressed out? That doesn't sound too fun to me. But anyway, about 100 years ago, we didn't think that babies felt pain. There was no scientific proof that they did, so doctors did surgeries ranging from like tonsillectomies to full-blown open heart surgeries, amputations, any sort of surgery that a little sick kid might need was all done without pain medication, and they only used muscle relaxants which basically paralyzed the baby so it wouldn't be able to move. Toddlers had to experience this too, children up to 15 months, so that's over a year old. The argument was that a baby's nervous system was so underdeveloped they didn't feel pain, and if they reacted to pain in any way, like flinching, it was just said to be a reflex. This happened until the mid-1980s when Jill Lawson found out that her son had surgery without any sort of pain medication, and she brought the public's attention to it. That's in 1985. In the US, one of the most medically advanced countries in the world, that was happening. And now the medical community knows that babies feel pain just as much as adults do, if not more. Not only that, but experiencing extreme pain in infancy can actually lead to psychological issues in adulthood. If we can miss that much pain in tiny humans, we can definitely miss pain or discomfort in snakes. Especially with the lack of research that has gone into the wobble. Just because there's no actual solid evidence for pain or discomfort right now, it doesn't mean that it's not there. We know that it's causing disorientation, and we know that that's probably uncomfortable considering when we have vertigo or we're dizzy, we don't like it. Our empathy should be enough to stop breeding animals with neurological conditions. I will probably always be against spider ball pythons. I can't imagine me not being against them. And if I ever do get a spider ball python, it will be through adoption or rescue. I will never pay somebody to breed an animal that I'm not sure is okay neurologically. Still, I think it's important to see the other side of things, so if you have any logical arguments for me, I would love to hear them in the comments down below, and if you agree with me that spider ball pythons are probably unethical, comment down below too. And I will see you next time. Bye!